You're jamming your favorite song, and while you aren't missing a beat, you could be missing a signal from your body. It's an SOS from your kidneys, and it doesn't sound like music at all. It's silent. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and other risk factors can quietly stress the kidneys, leading to negative impacts on the heart. That's why you should ask your doctor about a simple urine test called UACR. Most miss the signal for hidden kidney disease and related heart risk. You shouldn't. Visit detectthesos.com today to learn more.
What most people think.
Hello and welcome to this week's main episode of What Most People Think. Now, I should say that this episode was going to be with Francis Foster right up until the last minute. And because he's a part of a podcast which you might have heard of called Trigonometry, apparently it does a bit better than this one. I've yet to see the stats, frankly. He'd already moved it once, and me and the producer moved, and then he rang me at the last minute to say he couldn't do it. So I am so pleased to report that Ian Stone has stepped in at the last minute. You're a better bloke. I like you more. I feel like I've won here. I mean, I said to Francis Stoney, don't worry about it, but I'm never going to forget it, and I'm going to slag you off throughout this episode. That feels fair.
And I thought I could join in.
You should join in.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the interesting thing about this is that quite a lot of people, when I put clips up online, they go, is that Francis Foster's dad?
Well, they could have said granddad, mate. I mean,
do you know what? That's true. Do you know, I had someone come up to me at a gig and say, my grandma loves you the other day. And I thought, oh, my God.
Yeah, I get a lot of dads these days, but I don't mind that because dad's taking their son to comedy. I'm happy to be that special John Lewis advert moment in their lives. But instead of exchanging vinyl, it's just a bloke who looks like an electrician saying fuck. One of the reasons, I mean, one of the things about Francis being on this week is that he's part Venezuelan. So we will be talking about the new Trump world order in the second section of the show. So in that bit, I'm just going to need you to sort of speculate on what it feels like to be Venezuelan.
To be Venezuelan. I've always wanted to be Venezuelan, to be honest with you. It's been an aspiration of mine for a long time. But other people say it's crackers.
You see, this is why you're the best at what you do. And also, did you see that when they said Trump was going to issue visas to OnlyFans models and social media, in the way that it often excels, started looking at Venezuelan women and said, well, I think you should fast track these ladies. And that's I think that's what social media is for. It's for sentiments like that. Obviously, this is a UK facing podcast. So the thing that we're going to be reacting to in the first section of the show is Kemi's INSTABAN, right? INSTABAN. I'm thinking like a tabloid caption writer. She suggested a social media ban for under 16s. But also a bit of breaking news, Stoney. I don't know if you're aware. We're recording this at midday on Monday, the 12th of Jan. Mm-hmm. Nadeem Zahawi has gone on a Bosman to reform. Did you know that?
Nadeem Zahawi. There's a name. Former Chancellor who opened an offshore bank account by accident. We've all done it, right? We've all done it. I was doodling about on Blue Sky the other day, and I turned around and I had 45 grand in the Cayman Islands. I mean, look,
it's a natural thing. People, the youngsters now, they don't know what it was like when we kept paper records of things. You'd lose that stuff, that kind of thing in an afternoon. He was also instrumental in the setting up of YouGov, so let's keep an eye on those numbers from here on in. So mainly we're going to talk about the social media ban that's been proposed by the Tories. Also, in the Patreon only, I'm supposed to be teasing stuff more on my podcast. I, on Saturday morning, ended up in A&E, right? And if you want to know why, the patrons will find out why. But I'm not going to be that cynical. I thought it was a good way into sort of having a chat about male health. And despite the fact I bang on about men being more open, I probably left something far too long and didn't tell anybody about it. I should say it's fine.
I was going to say, because it'd be a bit much for the Patreon to tune in and you go, I've got 6 months to live. Right?
Yeah, but then some of them, they do refunds, wouldn't they, on the Patreon? That would be that's what I would do.
I'd subscribe for a year, Jeff, for Christ's sake.
This guy's taking the piss. Speaking of which, piss take prices. Keeping an eye on the shocking prices, the ones that make you gasp. I'll go first and then I'd like to hear yours, Stoney. I was at the A&E and there was a vending machine and I was hungry because I was there about 5 hours and there was a tuna mayonnaise BAP and it was about half the size of a CD in circumference and it was $3.85, which is not like insanely expensive, but no. I just think you're at A&E, a manky little tuna BAP. Come on, $3.85.
Yeah, it seems a little much. I mean, if you've got like some sort of heart condition, could that sort of send you over the edge? £3.85. Doof.
When you say it like that, I mean, you've got that brilliant routine. What the routine about being Jewish and asking about, this sounds racist now, please take over from me. Take this baton.
No. Keep talking. It's great. I love it. I love it when people do my stuff back to me. £3.85 for a tuna, a BAP.
No, seriously, you have to rescue me and reference your routine about questioning how much things cost. Otherwise,
I've never done anything like that, Jeff.
Wow. Okay, all right, yeah. I'm not
actually Jewish. I just thought it'd be quite fun to try it, because I tried a Muslim thing. It never really worked for me. But I was never that racist, you see. Never not like, you did there.
It's nice having you on the final ever episode. What is your piss take price?
I don't like to have a go at another comedian, right? But I was at Top Secret Comedy Club at the weekend. I can't tell you any more than that. And
one of the most well advertised clubs on social media, by the way, the Top Secret Comedy Club.
But the thing was, I used to do a radio show with Ian Wright years ago on Absolute Radio, and I was quite often at Top Secret on Saturday night, and he would always at the end of the show say, "Where are you playing?" And I'd say Top Secret Comedy. He goes, "Where's that?" And I say, "I can't tell you." And we'd laugh every week. I mean, they took us off air, but, I'm sure it wasn't that. I think it was the Jewish jokes that he was doing, to be honest with you. Piss take prices. Top Secret have got Dave Chappelle on, right, for 2 shows. Guess how much they are, Jeff. Guess how much they are.
How much?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to do the routine.
No.
Right. It is, I think that's going to be a bullseye. And above, maybe.
Oh, mate, way more. It's £125.
Fuck off. I mean, look, all right, yeah, let's talk about comics. Obviously, I would love to have the market pressure to be able to charge that. I genuinely wouldn't, though. I wouldn't for a single performance of anything I'd do, because you can't get past the fact that it really is just a bloke with a fucking microphone.
£125. I mean, it's insane. And Top Secret is not that club as well. It's like, it's free.
Usually,
Sunday to Thursday. It's free. You give out bucket donations, and then Friday and Saturday. I don't think it's that expensive. I've never paid to get in, obviously. But £125 doesn't really seem in the ethos, to be honest with you. But what's happened is, he's taken over the club, so he's charging what he wants. It's nothing to do with him.
Yeah, we should say it's a great club and they're known for value and they get loads of brilliant people dropping in. But yeah, 100 quid, 20 quid for Dave Chappelle. Were there any left?
No, both shows sold out entirely.
Okay, new patrons. The only way to get this podcast twice a week, guaranteed, is to become a patron. You also get you got the podcast early, ad-free, and with bonus content. As you know by now, Stoney, we roast the names of people. I can't remember whether we did this one or last week, so we'll go again. Eliza Do Nothing.
No, that's a nice idea, actually. I quite like it.
Yeah, Eliza Do Nothing. I mean, that sounds like a brilliant sort of, what is it, nom de plume for a sort of like Gen Z Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, no, it's a great. I mean, look, we all they did Eliza Doolittle and Pygmalion or My Fair Lady for those of us who don't read George Bernard Shaw.
Here's a thing, and I might be sounding really thick here. Was she related to Dr. Doolittle? Or is that part of like a cinematic universe that I'm not aware of?
Do you know what? That's a fact. I hadn't even considered that. It's a possibility. Yeah. Didn't Rex Harrison play Dr. Doolittle and then also played the sort of posh bloke who taught her how to speak properly in My Fair Lady?
Okay, well, this is absolutely David Domain territory, which we'll get to in a second. I mean, Eliza Do Nothing, not only does she not speak to the animals, she doesn't speak to fucking anyone.
No.
Lazy. We've also got 2 one-namers here. We've got Ruth and Sam, so we normally presume that these people want to be anonymous and don't want to be associated with an edgelord like me. Maybe they work for... Who is the police force that are in trouble for...
West Midlands.
Yeah, they're probably senior lieutenants.
That's who it is, Ruth and Sam from West Midlands Police. Yeah, Chief Inspector Ruth.
And she went in there with an agenda.
Yeah, it's West Midlands Police. Okay, maybe they just didn't put the surname on the form.
I was watching Wimbledon, and by the way, next Thursday we're doing another gig at the football club, which you did before. We had a great time. You had a fantastic gig. We're doing that next Thursday, but the reason I'm mentioning it was because Wimbledon were playing away at Coventry in the late 80s, early 90s, and we had about 100 fans there, and I was more police guarding us than there were fans. And Vinnie Jones put in a bad tackle on someone. I went, "Go on, Vinnie, break his fucking legs." And this old-fashioned copper with like proper shaded pedo glasses come up behind me and just grabbed my arse, went, I'll break your fucking legs.
Nice.
And I was like,
nice.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
That is how policing should be.
It's effective, but sometimes it can cross the line. Domain Talking Point, our super patron, David Domain, who keeps an eye on previous week's episodes. We were asking whether or not Pontypridd was a real place or was it in Fireman Sam? And it is actually Fireman Sam's fictitious hometown of Pontypandy, which now I know it's fictitious, sounds a bit racist against the Welsh. Like that, if you said to me, just make up a Welsh place, I'd go, ooh, Pontypandy.
You've moved on from the Jews now. It's nice that. I mean, it's nice that we're not. We're not.
Why?
Why? Because, we can. Because if anyone can, we can.
It's true. There's history. Heated front windscreens. I was asking about why can't we just have heated front windscreens?
I was thinking this the other day.
Well, David Domain says that Ford invented them and held the patent. So for years, only Ford Group vehicles had HFW, including Jaguar and Land Rover. In the 2010s, that patent expired. Since then, other manufacturers have started adopting heated front windows, but not enough, I would say. It's such a simple... If you can do it without ruining the line of vision, why wouldn't you do it?
Well, maybe you can't do it without ruining the line of vision. I actually don't know the answer to that. I haven't had a car that was built after 2010 for a long time. Yeah. So, I wouldn't have got to that yet.
Well, David Domain will answer the question of also, hopefully, what does it ruin your line of vision? I've been having a protracted spat on both Instagram and TikTok where I asked why we don't call countries what they predominantly call themselves. So the example I gave was that the French call Scotland Écosse and Scottish people call Scotland Scotland. And then I've had loads of what they call reply guys for several days, Stoney, just going, actually, it's called Alba. So you've made the same mistake, Jeff. And I've sort of gone, it's fucking not called Alba. I mean, go to Scotland. No one's going.
Scotland?
Yeah. I mean, no one's going, oh, Flower of Alba. Or, the SNP are called the SNP. If you call them the ANP, that sounds like a sort of apartheid era insurgent group. So it's amazing. But what I have learned, Stoney, if you want to get engagement, you've got loads of great stand-up clips on Instagram. People should follow that. But also, just start a fucking argument about something trivial. Honestly, the engagement's through the roof, mate.
Oh, okay.
Just get blokes arguing about a trivial thing.
Well, interesting enough, I had a clip that I put up about going to watch football matches away, and I initially said up north, and then I had to cut it because I didn't want to talk about where I was going up north, and I said Wolverhampton. So it looks like I'm saying up north, Wolverhampton. And let me tell you, people have been appreciating the clip, and there's been so many more people arguing about whether Wolverhampton is actually up north. It's perfect, really, to be honest.
Well, try saying that if you look at the UK as a whole, that Leeds is technically in the Midlands. They don't like that.
No, I shouldn't think they do. Good work.
David also says that the English name Germany is from the Latin Germania, tribes in the area in Roman times, which also gives us the term Germanic. Alemannia in French was named after Alemanni, the Alemanni tribe who occupied northern Germany.
Who had to pay out money to their ex-wives. Is that what the Alemanni?
What most people think.
Okay, the thank you is to people buying tour tickets. It's really accelerated over Christmas and the New Year. I'm back out on tour from the 29th of January in Cambridge at the Junction, and that is already got 2 tickets left. The next night in Salisbury, that's got 13 tickets left. So we're down to the bare bones, as Harry Redknapp would say, doing big venues in Leamington, Shrewsbury, Derby. Salford's a big room. That's getting close to sold out. So you will think, why the fuck do they keep going on about their tour tickets? But what will happen is some will sell out, and then they'll go, people, as you know, Stoney, people go, when were you in insert town that I was in last week? Oh,
right. Yeah, I haven't had that yet so much, to be honest, but that will start, I'm sure.
Okay, just it's an opportune time to remind us about your tour.
Start on Thursday in Biggleswade, actually, and Southend. Both of those are sold out, but I've got some left for Cambridge. I've got some left for Leicester. I'm going all over it. I'm on Ian Stone. If you go to Ian Stone Comedy, it's on the front page. You just click on the relevant date, and I'm putting in some more for the autumn because people are coming out to see me, except in Lutterworth.
Fuck you, Lutterworth.
No. Hang on a minute.
No, this is what we do. If people aren't buying tickets, I'm sick of comedians going, oh, I can't wait, looking forward to this. No, fuck you, Lutterworth. You had your chance.
Well, they've still got their chance until May, to be honest. And the other one they've got a chance is for Wales, Swansea and Cardiff. I've been so nice about Wales in the past, and as yet they seem to have resisted.
It's because they can tell that you're lying. Okay, the fuck you, Ian. Who's the fuck you to?
Do you know what? I wouldn't normally do this, but there was a 6-year-old child. I was at Portsmouth yesterday for the FA Cup third round victory for the Arsenal. And there was a 6-year-old child who was giving me and the rest of the Arsenal fans the finger for the entire game. And his dad was encouraging him. I was outraged at the parenting or lack of. So if you're listening, 6-year-old child, fuck you. 4-1.
Although the fact they did it for the whole game, then you're like, fair play to the lad.
No, I'm not. It's outrageous. If my kid did that, because, when they say rude words, you go, no, you can't say that. And, you find it funny. But the dad was sitting next to him, watching him, giving us the finger and the wanker sign. And I thought, how does he even know all that? Well, obviously he knows it from his dad. It's outrageous. It is. Not that I was in any way more grown up giving the finger back to a 6-year-old child, but that's not the point. I'm allowed.
Did you meet him in the car park afterwards? Have a straightener?
Battered him. That's a joke. That is absolutely a joke.
No, if we're leaving in the anti-Semite stuff, then we're leaving in that. Right, both getting cancelled for this one. Well, we're not. That's just a thing comics say. But if people could clip this up, though, we could get in trouble. But let's talk about something slightly safer now, and it's Kemi Badenoch's INSTABAN. Right, so we know that in Australia, they've done a ban on social media for the under 16s. I'm going to be honest, right? I don't pretend to be the most informed podcast. I have no idea how that's going, which might have been good research to do for this, but who cares? All right, different culture, long way away. But what's interesting, I think, is that the Tories are starting to make the political weather again in patches here, because Kemi's been better in the PMQs, and then she's come up with a policy here, which I think could land with members of the electorate, right? For a while now, we've just said young people shouldn't have stuff. During COVID, they shouldn't be able to go out. They get paid less. I mean, there's a lot of intergenerational unfairness. And if you ask a lot of people, I suspect a lot of people go, no, they shouldn't have that. My first question here, Ian Stone, is given the Tories are supposed to be anti-nanny state and not getting involved and stifling business, is this a bit off-brand?
Yeah, well, I heard someone this morning on Times Radio, actually, which I believe you are a big part of. And,
all the decision makers listen to it, mate. It's the number one station listened to by MPs. There you go.
Well, it is outstanding. 635 potential customers. That's great. What do I think? Well, this Tory MP was saying it's about freedom for parents and protection for children. They said it's impossible to get the phones off them and get them off social media. So maybe a ban. I mean, I don't see why they need a phone in school. I mean, it's not just about in school. It's about
social media ban wholesale here. And what I think is that my generation of parents, and a bit above and a bit below, we're potentially the most hypocritical ever, right? Because we spent ages telling kids about how great it was in the past. We used to leave at 9 a.m. We would just walk 10 miles away. We'd piss about in fucking like disused pits. Do you know what I mean? We'd adopt weasels. We'd rub our faces in shit. And then all of a sudden, like, it comes to those we say how great those freedoms are. And then we say to our kids, oh, if you want to go out of the house, you got to have a watch with GPS on here. Because there's, I don't know, pedos everywhere. I mean, there are, sadly, there's always, one pedo is too many, let's be clear. But they also existed in the past, didn't they? I mean, they did. We had a guy up the tube station near me. I'm not going to say his actual name. Let's call him Dirty Steve. But his nickname did start with the word dirty. And everyone knew he was fucking wrong'un. But we used to sort of go in groups and get free travel cards off him. We didn't do anything in return. I wish I hadn't started this story. Anyway, nothing bad happened with Dirty Steve. The point I'm making is, are we guilty of some serious intergenerational hypocrisy here? Because if we take away social media, but say, oh, you're still mostly going to stay in the house, what does their life consist of?
Are we saying they're mostly staying in the house? Maybe if we take away social media, then maybe they have to get out of the house. Because I was talking, one of my kids' partners, I was talking to her the other day about boredom. Right, and about how I don't think people are bored enough because the brain needs a bit of space, right? Because it's an elastic thing, right? It's a growing thing, and you have to leave it be. for the brain to have to reach for stuff. And if you constantly just go, what about this? Do you like that? You like that? What about that? Do you like that? Well, have some more of that. I don't think it's good for you. So especially for a child who's still growing up and still learning, I have to say, and I've never said this phrase before, I would agree with Kemi Badenoch.
What most people think.
Right, so Ian agrees with Kemi Badenoch, which brings us to another part of the story, which is interesting, is while she was being interviewed on Laura Kuenssberg, is Andy Burnham, the King of the North, the Prince over the water. I would say if the Prince over the water is Andy Burnham, the kingdom's fucked, but there you go. He said...
What water? Manchester Ship Canal is what you're talking about.
Dank fucking canal with a trolley and a skeleton in it.
Hey, I'm a friend. I have joined Friends of the Canals and Waterways. I give them money. I mean, what happened was I was walking down a canal path from Hackney back to King's Cross, and there was a bloke standing at the side, and there was no avoiding him, short of shoving him in the water. So I started talking to him, and now I'm paying out for canals and waterways, and I'm happy to do so. All right.
I love the fact that it occurred to you to shove him in the water. A sort of a weird reenactment of the Dirty Den moment in EastEnders. But so he's kind of come out and said, you know what, Kemi Badenoch's got a point. And the truth is there's loads of Labour MPs who agree with this. Because, you know, the very core of Labour MPs is the desire to fuck around with other people's lives and freedoms.
Stop that.
Don't do that.
They Put that down.
But there's a whole culture. And, in fairness, it happened a lot under the Tories too, is it's never... inform and educate, it's just ban, isn't it? Take it out of view. Don't get me wrong. My son does not have a phone yet, right? And he won't, earliest the age 11, maybe even not then, right? I'm very conscious of screen time, but I'm also very conscious of hypocrisy. And like when we was younger and your parents would be smoking, they would hold a fag up and they go, don't you ever get started on this. And you go, but you're doing it. It must be quite good.
You look like you're having a good time doing it.
You love it.
In between the coughing.
You do it after sex. You do it after meals. It punctuates all the best moments of your life. Not that
Sorry. Can I just go back a bit? And as I suddenly pictured my parents after sex, which is better than picturing them during sex. But all the same, I wish you hadn't done that.
Yeah, I wish they hadn't done that.
Yes, quite. You're right, though. There is a certain hypocrisy, but social media is... I think particularly bad for all of us. For all of us, not just kids, but I think as young people with growing brains and expanding minds, it's one of the worst things they can do is sit and stare at a phone all day. So what are the arguments, aside from the hypocritical argument, saying, well, that's what we do, but we're grown-ups, we're allowed. What are the other arguments against? I don't see any particular arguments against it.
Is that whether we like it or not, the online space is where they live, right? And so if you talk about, it's making them depressed, I just wonder, look, I if this happened, I can see potential good from it. But I'm also, like the Dangerous Dogs Act, whenever you do like a big piece of legislation, there's always those kind of loopholes that people haven't thought of. You go, well, young kids are getting depressed because every once in a while, some troll comes on, someone says something horrific, tries to groom them, right? Equally, what if they're depressed because their lives now consist of them staring at a fucking wall? Do you know what I mean? And sort of like having board games that their parents are too busy to play with them because their parents are on fucking Facebook as well, sitting there, who only found out about the ban from social media. I think, by the way, I think it's a good position. I think it's a good position for the Tories to take. I do think that they can kind of say, people sort of forget that conservative can mean both things, right? It can mean stay out, or it can mean, small c conservative and preserve traditions. So I think that there is an argument here. And I do think that, Kemi, this might be a smart move because the thing is, you've then got to stand up and say, no, keep the 12-year-olds on Snapchat.
Exactly. I mean, I think the depression thing and the anxiety things are big factors here. And that's what I see from a lot of younger people. They're depressed and they're anxious in a way that we never were. Do you know, I mean, we might have fallen into the pit, as you say, and rubbed our faces in mud and I don't know, whatever else. It doesn't sound that dangerous, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think on the whole, it sounds like a good idea. And I think it's put Labour in a bit of a bind because it's not their policy, is it? But Andy Burnham has gone, I think we should do it.
And also, we were in a good mood because we got a free travel card off a pedo. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick bit, as I say, on the breaking news that Nadeem Zahawi has defected to Reform. So, there's been a lot of defections, Stoney, of Tories to Reform.
Has most there been of them a lot? Not Danny Kruger and and a couple of others.
The two that have hurt the Tories, I think, is Danny Kruger, because people see him as a thought leader in the Conservative movement, like a proper serious thinker. And Nadeem Zahawi, former Chancellor. I mean, I would say former Chancellor. I know it was 70 days, but it feels like no one thinks of that, particularly when they think of him. It's a bit like when I dated one of the best looking girls in middle school, but across the summer holiday. So technically it was 7 weeks, but really it was a week.
Yeah, I see that. I was actually Chancellor for half a day. I don't know if you know that. I had a half a day.
Where?
Like Thursday morning, but then lunchtime, I don't know, there was some scandal and I had to resign. So it was a bit sad, really.
Well, there was a period. Do you remember when Boris had everyone resigning on him? It might well have escaped notice that Ian Stone was briefly...
I was very in and out. In and out, just, you know. Yeah, so Nadeem Zahawi was 70 days, was he?
70 days. And I do think that this does hurt the Tories a bit at a time when they're sort of recovering a bit in the polls, you know, and starting to get a bit
recovering
of traction.
In the polls?
Mate, they've gone from 18 to like 19 and a half. What are you talking about? The comeback is on, bruv.
Yeah, I do look at Kemi Badenoch. To me, Kemi Badenoch, I remember when Sheffield United got relegated in March one year, right? And after that, they played brilliantly. They were so good. And I sort of feel like Kemi Badenoch and Prime Minister's Questions is a bit like Sheffield United having been relegated. She's got nothing to lose at that point.
I am going to keep this video clip for when Kemi Badenoch becomes Prime Minister.
Yeah, do that. I'll hold my hands up. Kemi, I misjudged you. You made a great escape and you won the title.
It has been a hell of a turn, because it wasn't that long ago when Starmer was just standing up and just got I would say to the other, you know, and just like mansplaining the fuck out of her. And now he looks a bit withered when she stands up. I mean, she's quite fearsome. I think that she's good at telling people off. I don't know if that means that she'd be good at running the country, but she's the teacher or parent you would be scared to have to tell that you've done something wrong, right?
As opposed to Keir Starmer, I think.
I'd go to Keir. I'd go, Dad, Dad, can you help me out?
Be a good bloke. And you're right. Prime Minister's Questions, it's like, I don't know, some sort of zombie movie, isn't it, really, the two of them?
Well, the only thing is that recently, what with Mandelson and with Angela Rayner, there's been a few times when it has created the political weather. Now the Tories have done it, you know, with a bit of policy, but sort of anchoring it back to Nadeem Zahawi. I suppose what reform, in fairness to reform, what they need is a sense of economic credibility. I don't know if Nadeem Zahawi, the 70-day Chancellor, fully provides that, but they're at least conscious of that.
No, and by the way, I'm not having that phrase, in fairness to reform. They can fuck off. Nigel Farage, to me, seems like a bloke who'd have a bar in his living room, and I hate that shit, right? I really do. He's just so smug. But more than that, more than anything, this is the bloke who said that Brexit was a good idea, and I think most people now would agree that it's not. It wasn't a good idea, and that being the case, I'm not sure I trust their political judgment on anything.
I mean, the only thing I would say is that with the talks of the EU reset, it's interesting that Labour don't want to do a customs union because of some of the trade deals they've got. They don't want to disrupt because those were possible outside the EU. I'm not saying this means Brexit hasn't been without the odd wrinkle here and there, Stoney.
I think we can agree, not without the odd wrinkle.
But also the City of London, you know, they're already making noises that with your EU reset, don't fucking include us with that because we're doing all right. So a bit of balance there.
Well, as long as the City are doing okay, that's the main.
Yeah, exactly. That's most of our mates, really. Okay, we're going to talk about world stuff now. So, as I said, Francis Foster was supposed to be the guy. We're going to talk about Venezuela. So, Ian, how are the Venezuelans feeling today?
I was talking to my extended Venezuelan family earlier, actually.
Julio.
How are they feeling? I don't know, a bit lost, really. I mean, essentially, they've taken away Donald Trump, swooped, didn't they? Or the troops swooped in, took away Maduro, and killed a lot of Cubans, apparently, because the Cubans have been they're upset. They killed about 32 Cubans in the raid. And I think what's happening to Cuba is just as interesting as well, in that basically they're running out of power. And they're in a really bad place, and they're having to talk to Donald Trump now, you know. And look, he wants to make a deal because that's what he likes. What do I think about it? I think that it is a new world order, and everything's getting upset. And I think the only way we can really judge what happens in the next 4 years or the next 3 years of the Donald Trump presidency is at the end, and we have to go, well, is that better? Is that worse? And we'll see as a whole, because the guy's a gambler. He's a property developer. That's what they do. And he's gambled that taking out Nicolas Maduro and his sort of coterie of, alumni, whatever. And a coterie of alumni, what the fuck is that?
Madudus. That's what his fans are called, Madudus.
The Madudus.
Nicolas Maduro and the Madudus sounds like one of those bands from the 50s. I mean, what was interesting about Trump is he's so hard to grapple with, because there's so, we'll talk about Iran in a sec, what he's doing there, people might like from a liberal point of view. But what he said about that, with the casualties, he said that none of our guys died, and several of their guys died. And I sort of thought that's such a crass way of putting it, right? That's uncomfortable. Previous presidents would really sort of balk at that. They would take refuge in quite clinical, hysterical stuff. But that is also absolutely what war is about. Like, that is the most...
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, like, none of our guys died. Quite a few of theirs did, is pretty much the focus of all war, distasteful though we might find it to be referenced. And the fact that he was originally... he was originally planning this for, I think it was Christmas Eve.
He was going to do it on Christmas Eve.
Apparently. I mean, what? Like a good day to bury. But do you remember after 9/11, there was that Labour minister that said this was a good day to bury bad news?
That's right. I do remember that, yeah.
I'd never have thought anyone would have said, everyone will be in their fucking gym jams watching a Pixar film.
The thing about, I don't think Donald Trump was thinking about burying bad news, though, in any way. I think he was just, maybe he saw it as a Christmas present for, his mates in the oil companies, because that's, let's be fair, that's what we're talking about here, right? He's gone in there and he's taken over the oil companies, and it's really about his backyard, isn't it? And his backyard, as far as America is concerned, is the whole of Central and South America. It's really, that's his bit.
Well, there's two things. What interesting what you said there was, one is like, the Monroe Doctrine, where there was just an American president that said if it affects us, we'll do it, essentially. Yeah. But that's not a doctrine. That's just saying I'm going to do what the fuck I want. I quite like to come up with the Norcott Doctrine, domestically. Go, babe, I haven't gone to the recycling centre. Applying the Norcott Doctrine, I didn't fucking want to. All right?
Let's see how the Norcott Doctrine goes down at your house.
Yeah, I don't think maybe I haven't got the skills of a Trump, but I've now got an image as well of Trump in my head in a Chinook dressed as Santa Claus with like an AK-47. I mean, that is kind of what ChatGPT should be for.
What most people think.
Let's talk about Greenland before we get on to Iran. Now, I am deeply uncomfortable about the idea that Article 5 might be disrupted. I was thinking about Greenland, doing a bit of research. It's fucking massive. Is the first thing. It's so big.
It's enormous, and because of all the climate change and the ice melting, it's now uncovered all these minerals and what have you, and Trump wants to get his hands on them. That's basically what's going on, right?
That's basically what's going on. Arctic shipping lanes, strategic influence. But there is it has a population of 56,000 people. Now, I've looked into it. That's the same as Bromsgrove, right? It's the same population as Bromsgrove. Bromsgrove has stuff going for it as well. Close to the NEC and M42 Spur
Close
Road.
to Redditch. Often paired together, isn't it? Bromsgrove and Redditch.
Like, in terms of landmass and mineral wealth, it's an important thing. In terms of just governance, right? But one of the big things people say is that 56,000 people isn't a lot of people. And I'm not saying this means I think the US should just aggressively take it over. But I do think that global leaders might look at just the number of people that this affects the governance of and go, overall, if they come to a deal, can we live with this? It's just not... if Donald Trump came and said, I literally want Bromsgrove and I'll sort you out a few quid, I'd go, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't live in Bromsgrove, Jeff.
I think the people at Bromsgrove would be up for it. I don't know if you've been there.
I have.
The Arts Centre's all right.
Of course I've been there. I've been everywhere, mate. We've all been everywhere. That's our job. I think people will live with it because I think people have no choice but to live with it. What are they going to do? The mainly Inuits, I believe, who live in Greenland are not, I believe, going to be able to stop the Marine Corps or any sort of, Navy SEALs. You'd have thought SEALs would work well in an area like Greenland, really. That's the best joke of the bit, right? I like that bit. I'm not sure I can top that.
I know. Look, when I move it on, that's because I think jokes are punctuation points. I have one now, and we're going to talk. We should have probably spoke more about this, given what's going on in Iran. This is
It's grim, man.
It's grim, and it's very serious. If you believe that women should be free and believe in Western liberal democratic values, which I strongly do, you got to hope. I hope that this happens, but also we sort of feels like we've been here before. Do you know what I mean? Like throughout my recent adult life, I'm already worried that it's gone on long enough without it actually toppling over, that it might be another one of those occasions where it doesn't. But I don't know. Did you see that image of the woman lighting up a picture of the Supreme Leader with a fag? I just thought, fucking hell.
Really?
Yeah, just your most, without a hijab on, most iconic image of the year. We're done. You know, like just close the entries in January.
I always find it interesting. You know when they burn American flags, and I always thought, where do they get them?
Yeah.
Has somebody opened up an American flag factory in one of the Middle Eastern countries and is doing a roaring trade at the moment?
Just on the flags thing, I think, like those dodgy guys that sell half and half scarves at Wembley. Where do they get their stuff from? I think it's the same people, but sorry.
I imagine it's the same people. Listen, we hope it works. the Iranian leadership are weaker than they've ever been. Khamenei is hanging on with the help of the IRGC.
Khamenei is hanging on. Sorry, that's just funny the way you said it. Get another H in that sentence.
This is serious.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, it is.
How long can Khamenei hang on for?
I don't know, is the short answer to that. I hope.
Sorry.
I hope dearly that something changes there and that he's toppled. But you know what? What comes next? Because they're talking about bringing back the guy who was the son of the Shah, right?
I mean, and also there are a lot of people that are instruments of state there. A lot of people still kind of love the hijabi stuff and the covering up.
No, Jeff, I was reading about this. They reckon that when the Iranian Revolution happened, it was about 80% ideologues, right? The people who were into it. And this commentator who I read, when I think commentator, I always think David Coleman, but that's just me. But with this political commentator said that now it's about 20% ideologues. So people are much less bothered about the extremist Islamic stuff.
Point taken. One thing I would say about ideologues, usually highly motivated, if anything, as history's taught me anything. So that would be the fear, is that they're not just going to go, hey, fair play, let's shake hands on it. You won. Let's be Westerners.
No, it will be violent and bloody, and innocent people will die. But I mean, aside from the Romanian Revolution, when was the last revolution where innocent people didn't die? Really? I mean, Ceausescu and his wife got it, and a couple of others, but that was about it. But since then, you see revolutions happen. It's not going to happen without a fight. I don't know. I'm tempted to think this might be the moment when the world helps out. But hey, not everyone feels that way.
You know what? We were flipping at points there, but you rounded that off beautifully. So we're going to say for everybody else, shortly it will be the end of the podcast. But for the patrons, I will reveal the reason for my trip to A&E, and we'll talk about why a bloke that's supposed to be into the idea of male openness was not open at all for ages. Okay, if you want to know how that conversation went from me going to A&E, I am going to live via micropenises and Adolf Hitler, then join the Patreon community. Best to do it via the website. Creators get more money that way. Android is second best. Apple Music still, if that's the only way, do it, but it's less money for the creators than other ways. Ian Stone, just remind us of the name of the tour and the best place to get tickets.
Ian Stone is looking for the wow. If you go to ianstonecomedian.co.uk, and the page that you'll come to has a list of all the gigs, and you just press whichever button is in the town near you, and it will take you directly to the theatre website, and you can buy tickets there. And I'm going to put some new dates on sale in about the next 2 or 3 weeks, coming to some towns that I haven't been before.
Okay, and listen, just before we go, Stoney, will you now please just clear up the fact that you do have a routine about Jewish people being tight with money? Just give me that.
Sorry, Jeff, I really have to leave now.
Wow. Okay, listen, I'll see you later for the breaking news. Wow.